What's up everyone, it's Uncle Stambana here, and I want to start off by saying that 1 year ago, I created a guide on how to curve with Billy on mouse, keyboard, and controller, and this guide at the moment is close to hitting 20k views, which is why 1 year later, I decided to create another guide for this video. I'm going to explain 5 quick tips that will help you all become better Billy players. These tips are things that have improved my Billy gameplay these past few months, and I can promise you guys that if you follow the tips mentioned in this, you will have an easier opportunity to get 4Ks with him. That being said, it's time to address these quick tips on how to play Billy very efficiently. Tip number 1. Always keep your controller sensitivity to above 80%. This tip revolves around how to do the Billy curve, aka this trick you see here. Kind of work? Can I get Shaq with a gen? I can. Changing your DPI or your mouse sensitivity will not affect the Billy curve at all. In order to do the Billy curve, you need to keep your controller sensitivity to above 80%. Even if you play on PC, doing this will affect how much you turn at the start of Billy's saw. If you use 25% controller sensitivity, you will curve at a max of 45 degrees. But if you go between 80 and 100% controller sensitivity, you will curve at a max of 180 degrees, which is important to go for the best type of Billy curves. This can be done in PC, console, and even mobile DBD. Once you turn up the controller sensitivity, you should be able to do these Billy curves. Tip number 2, and personally I feel like this tip is very important. Learn how to feather efficiently. To those who don't know, feathering is when you rev your chainsaw and never go into a chainsaw sprint. This trick is very important to becoming a good Billy player because it can help you outplay any survivor trying to juke your saw as you hit them in close range, and will allow you to time your Billy curves quick enough. In order to do this, you need to force your chainsaw meter at 90% or more and then spam hit the chainsaw button in a consistent rhythm to keep the meter at the same spot for a while. With no engravings, it's best to keep the meter at 90%. If you play with engravings, I highly recommend doing it at 95% since the chainsaw charge time is slower. Then when you're ready to saw, hold the saw button and you're guaranteed to go in the direction you want. If you figure out how to feather your chainsaw with Billy, this will take you one big step closer to becoming a stronger Billy player. Tip number 3. Memorize map collisions. Every map has all sorts of tiles that have different collisions on them. As a Billy main, you need to learn how intense the collision is because these will help you know where to do a Billy curve. Here are some examples. If a spot has little collision on it like this car on Autohaven, then these are 100% curvable so you can hug it as much as you can. If a spot has some collision like this wall on Coldwind, then these are also curvable, but you should try to not hug it too much or you'll bump easily. If a spot has a lot of collision like this metal structure on RPD, these are not curvable at all, so it's best to go for a point blank chainsaw hit on the survivor. When you play Billy, experiment with every loop you see by discovering what is curvable and what is not. As you memorize the collision of these tiles, you can be able to know what type of play to go for as you chase a survivor. Tip number 4. Be aware of survivors who know how you play. In chases, some survivors will try to not loop and be distant from you. If you want to down these guys, you should use your chainsaw for mobility to be in a closer proximity with the survivor. If you can get very close, then they'll be forced to loop you, which will be a good opportunity to go for a Billy curve. However, a lot of times when you try to do a Billy curve on a survivor, they choose to peel out of a tile like this, making you miss your saw. In order to outplay them, there are 2 ways. The first way is start with a wide curve instead of fully hugging the tile. I made this diagram here to show how impactful a wide curve can do against a survivor who chooses to dodge your saw. If you do this, then the survivor will either run straight into your saw if they try to peel out, or will get hit anyways if they don't try to dodge. The other way is to just feather efficiently on the loop, which will cause the survivor to peel out and get close to you, allowing an easy chance for a free down. By knowing what a survivor could do to outplay you, these tricks can definitely end the chases quicker for Billy. And lastly, tip number 5. Always change your playstyle. One of the biggest mistakes Billy players do is only restrict themselves to playing chainsaw only with Billy. If you're just learning Billy, you should never do this. You will come across some players who want a serious challenge as they pre-drop every pallet on you even though you want to be a curve Billy. If you see this, use your hammer to swing on these survivors if you feel like your saw doesn't have enough time to hit them, especially if they're close to a pallet or window. But don't always just swing on survivors because then they'll have a full reason to pre-drop every single pallet on you. However, if you go from curving to back revving to swinging and repeat in different orders, this will be enough enough to force a survivor to do a mistake and quickly give you a free down. Anyways, these are all the tips on how to play Billy very efficiently. If there's anything I missed or any suggestions you feel that could also help improve Billy gameplay, feel free to comment below. Also a reminder that I do stream on Twitch and all of my content including this video comes from my streams. If you guys want to check out my Twitch, go to the link in the top right or the one in the description below. Thank you all for watching and be sure to like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video.